right, loves. Oh, so this is this is something that like how to create what we're doing. What's up? Hey, how to create when you're like your energy is just like no. When your body is feeling tired and you're exhausted and you're in all the feels and it might feel like it's your stuff, it might feel like it's collective stuff, and you also are like, no, but I'm in the discipline, I'm in the action, and or at least I want to be in the action. I want to be in the space where I'm like putting my stuff out there and messaging and creating and all of the things. So what do you do? Like, how do you actually produce when your energy is feeling like it doesn't feel like you're like, oh, I'm not feeling so inspired, and I don't feel like, yeah, like the entire fucking universe is moving through me at all times in all the ways, and you're just kind of like, shit, I should create something today. Like, damn, all right, right? Like when you're in that space, when you're in the ladder, and you maybe are like, well, one is if you're noticing where you are, and you're like, you think you should be in a different vibration, you think you should be in a different energy, and you're like, oh, bemoaning the fact that you're not in that high vibe state that you think you should be in, or that you just want to be in, because you're like, that's what I enjoy the most. You gotta let that shit go. You gotta actually allow yourself to be with where you are. And the more that you are trying and thinking that you should be in a different space, and you're like, whoa, man, and you're bemoaning, and you're me, and you're going into that like toddler space and of wanting, and you want it, and you want to throw a tantrum. Like, you got to let it go. You got to actually accept where you are, and be able to work with your body and your creativity wherever your energy is, wherever your vibration, wherever you happen to be in on any given day. Because there's this idea that you have to be in a specific energetic space, that you have to, have this sort of vibration in order to produce, in order to create, in order to show up and be there for the muse. And so this is like one, we've got like, or two, I guess we're on two, can't count today or like ever, but two, you have to really work with. And when I say have to, you don't have to do a damn thing. I was you don't have to do a damn thing, but really, like, you want to get it done, you want to be in the thing, then you got to be willing to look at the encoding, the ideas, the beliefs that say, oh, this is the only way, like you have to be in this, like huge, oh my gosh, big energy in order to get anything done. You don't. But if you think you do, then you do, right? Then anytime you're in a lower space of vibration, you won't create. You'll be like, oh my God, it sucks so bad, I can't do anything, and you'll go back into said toddler whining or whatever, however it comes through for you. And so one, accepting where you are. Two, really understanding the encoding that you hold around energy, and what it means, the story that you're creating, the meaning that you've assigned to that story about how it relates to your creativity and your ability to produce. And then three, really allowing yourself to work with the energy space that you're in. And so I just had a moment before I'm fucking exhausted today. One, it's chronic insomnia that I've had for decades, and anemia, blah blah blah. So some days it's just boom, right? Like energy is not there, and also just all the things that are going on, family, and then of course like the energy of the collective and all that stuff. And so when I was sitting down, I was like, no, I'm fucking on my live stream game. I'm live streaming today. Like, I'm doing the damn thing. And I was like, okay, what do I feel like creating? Wrong question. I don't mean as wrong as in, good, bad, right, wrong. I just mean like no, it's not gonna take you into a space where you're not only able to really create, but like that you're willing, because nothing's going to start to come through. Like if you're already in a lower space of vibration. And really, that's a question that that you can ask as often as you want to freaking ask it. And also, it doesn't mean that what's going to come from that is actually going to be the medicine. What's going to come from that is most likely something that's coming from ego, or coming from a belief around what you what you're supposed to create, what you should create, what people want you to create, all of those things. So instead, anytime I notice that I drop into that, oh God, what should I do? What do I feel like creating today? Then I like, oh, ooh, catch that. And then what needs to be created through me? What is asking to be moved through me today in this moment? And that changes everything, right? That changes everything. That's how this started. That's that's the only way we're alive today. That's the thing. And so it's honoring the energetic space that you're in. You don't, and like really honoring and accepting it. And you've got to encode, you've got to look at those encodings, the beliefs, everything that you hold around what you have to have in place in order to be creative, in order to access your creativity, in order to access and listen to the muse, in order to show up, in order to produce, looking at that. And then what is it serving? And then really dropping into your body around, okay, what needs to shift? What, if I was fully dropped in, here are some inquiries, here are some journaling prompts. Like if I was fully dropped in and it was like actually allowing my body to lead the way, then what are the parameters? What are the soul parameters that I need to create? Okay, like maybe it's like, okay, you wake up and drink some tea, or you go for like you go sit your butt in the chair and like you listen to some music, like whatever it is, like okay. And then if that's not there that day, oh well, then like I still show up and I do the thing and I create, like, right. But what it's not is, oh, I have to wait until I have the specific energy state. I have to wait until I've received, like the divine inspiration, that now is the moment to sit down and create and to open to the muse and to get all of the ideas and to receive and to produce. Like we've got to let those ideas go. This fanciful idea of what it is to be an artist, of what it is to be a creator, a writer, a speaker, a painter, whatever it is. And then really shifting that idea of like what you feel like creating that day. No, what is soul, what is God, what is great mystery, universe, what is the muse trying to, demanding to, commanding, needing to create through you in that moment, that breath, on that day. And sometimes, and so those are your three things, like really dropping into those, and then producing and creating from that. And what happens a lot of the time, or the times, whatever, what happens very often is that we can kind of, we take on, especially when you're in lower vibration and you're feeling exhausted, and you're like, fuck me, like, how am I gonna do anything, right? You're looking at the day in its entirety, and you're like, oh my God, like I need to do all of the things. I need to, write pages in the novel. I've got to paint the masterpiece. I've got to, like, whatever, like show up for in this way for these people, teach, coach, all those things. I've got to also, go live. I've got to do the blog. I've got to do, content distribution, like whatever it is, all the things that you're like, oh my God, I have no energy for any of these things. And then you do absolutely nothing, right? Then you get lost in the sauce and nothing actually comes from it, right? And instead of looking at the entire day, especially when you're in one of these exhausted lower vibration states, it's like, okay, so rather than the day, what about this moment, right? Like what's asking to be moved through me in this moment, and then sitting down and letting that move through, and whatever way that it wants to move through. And even if you're just like, you're so deep in the resistance that you're just like, I can't do anything. I just can't. Like set a timer, a soul timer, or an actual like timer on your phone, whatever. Or I guess whatever other timers people use nowadays. But setting some sort of cosmic timer or actual physical timer, and saying, okay, like 20 minutes, whatever it is, 10, 20, 30 minutes. But I'm sitting there and I'm going to drop in, I'm going to listen, and I'm going to create, and then I'm going to go back to fuck all, like, right. And then I can go back to doing absolutely whatever it is that my low vibration, low energy, exhausted self wants to do. And is this a practice? Yes. Are there going to be days when you're like, I just can't, I absolutely can't? Yes. Like, and on those, and if you're really truly exhausted, like go take a nap, take some B12, go, like, make some decoctions, like do whatever your body is like actually really like craving of you. And also, if you want to be in the space of really dropping in as a pro, right? Like, which we're like, if you're with me, then there's a part of you that's like, yeah, like this fucking message, the medicine has to be birthed into the world at the next level and the next level and the level after that. Like, it has to. There's no, it can't not. You can't. There's no option. There's no other option than to show up and do the work that you're here to do in this world, in your own body, in your own life, and then from there in the world. And so in that space, then, you know, like, if the medicine is demanding that you show up every day, which of course the medicine does, but it's just like, how is the medicine demanding that you show up that day? Maybe there is some outward actual like content distribution messaging, like to the peoples on things in your way, from the soul, from the pussy, from the, you know, whatever. And also maybe that day it's simply like, okay, I'm going to go lay on the ground and roll around in the dirt, and that's the medicine, right? But if you're so worried about like, oh, what do I feel like doing? Like, I have to be in a specific energy state in order to create. Like, and I'm not there, so I'm not feeling all of the things, and so I can't do any. I can't just I can't pause. Like, it's just so dramatic. Oh, God. I mean, we're creators, we're so dramatic. And also, if the drama is actually keeping you from doing the work of your soul, from being in the work of your soul, then it's time to like check yourself and really go back, go into the drilling prompts, and see what starts to come through, and what is wanting to be moved and produced through you, rather than like you know, really just going deeper into the resistance. Like, if all you do is sit there, and trust me, like, I've been there, probably happens every single day, right? It does happen every single day. What do I feel like creating? What do I feel like? There's no, like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Once you recognize it's going to happen, then once it does happen, you can catch it and be like, oh, hey, that hey, resistance, how you doing? And then you flip it, right? Then you flip the script and you go back into, okay, what is asking to be moved through me today in this moment? Yeah. Okay, yeah. So if you want to do, if you want deeper work around the things, around the body, around the energy, around the emotions, then I really, really, really suggest, and I highly suggest and invite you to join us in Recalibrate. It starts next week. It's all like it's accessible. I don't know why that was such a weird pronunciation. Accessible. It's accessible. Now I can't say the word. It's very accessible for you to do on the day-to-day, to actually be in the work, to be in the practices. There are shorter practices on purpose, so that you have a fighting chance against resistance to actually be in the deep work every single day, and then you produce your greatest work from that. It also helps, like, it's a deep space to really drop in on the daily with all of the things that you're experiencing on a collective level that you're not quite sure how to handle on an individual level, like how your nervous system is working with this. How can you still continue to create? Like, how dare you create when all the things are going on? Well, how dare you not? Like, how dare you not create? How dare you not create what your soul is offering you to offer to the world, if that's what you're called to do, which of course you are. If you're here, then you're called to produce, you're called to create, you're called to message. And so how dare we not actually drop into that, especially when times are like they are now. So this is the invitation. If you know that it's time, and you know it's time, and you know it's time, and you're willing to go all the way, and no matter what your energetic space is currently, no matter what your emotional capacity feels like it is currently, and you want the practices to actually be able to show up in the work in whatever way that is asking to be moved through you that day, the breath by breath, day by day, regardless of like thinking about like, oh, what should it be and what do they want from me and all of that stuff, then you want to be in there. So go to joinrecalibrate.com, and we have a live cosmic ceremony. It's happening on Wednesday. It's going down. If you want to come get lost in the good sauce with me, then I highly suggest you be there. Yeah, so go ahead. Join us. I can't wait to see you in there. I can't wait to see whatever comes through from your writing prompts from today. Yeah. All right, lovies. I will see you soon. Thank you so much for being here. As always, here's to your untaming. Bye, wild ones.